Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Last we left off, our coterie Dead Man's Hand, along with their new acquaintance Luca, were looking into more things that have crossed their mind when it came to the agents of the Second Inquisition that they've come across, and what information they might be able to pull from the computer hardware that they had successfully been able to liberate from a safe house. With some newfound information, Luca is on the trail of trying to find out more about these agents, where they come from, who they are, what their ties are to, what projects they may be associated with. Leaving Anna and Shriek and Alex on this new night with a little bit of downtime. Things that Anna wants to pursue revolve around Ian Keller, doctor of the state hospital, who has made an interesting proposition sort of pass at Anna before at Elysium. Some kind of study or experiment or something to that nature. One in which she asked Dr. Vale about her opinions of Dr. Keller and has been warned not to visit Dr. Keller alone. Rumors about kindred and kind alike never heard from again. Simply by visiting too often. And so, on this new night, Shriek and Anna are doing a little bit of research on their own about Dr. Keller and possibly his child, or Petra, who is at Elysium pretty much tied to the hip of her sire. So perhaps there's more to find out about that relationship. Something they could use to maybe corner Dr. Keller and get him to willingly fork over some land as far as domain goes. Officially or unofficially, it doesn't matter. As a feeding problem in their own domain persists. Even with the Second Inquisition mostly taken care of at the moment. Too many mouths to feed, and not enough people to feed upon. So, on this new night, Anna, Shriek, I would like you both to make rouse checks. As you wake from your day's rest. Thankfully, not any hungrier than where we left you last time. Which would be, what hunger are you at?
1.
That leaves me where I was the previous evening. 3.
So, Anna, you wake with that same sort of hungry feeling that you had from last night. You can definitely go for a good meal, but it's not going to overpower your thoughts. Simply make itself presently known as those sort of familiar, sort of errant thoughts and the almost supernatural grumbling of your stomach. There's always the want for a snack, Shriek. Certainly doesn't get any stronger tonight, but there's always that want. A little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe sip a whole drink and gorge yourself. But again, only errant thoughts. The two of you have met together in the domain, with the intention of tracking down maybe a lead on where to find Petra or where to find Dr. Keller exactly. So, you're free to discuss before we make any sort of roll in determining.
Well,
Go ahead.
the most that I was able to observe last time I actually interacted with Petra, if you could call it that. She said hello politely once, and for much of the rest of the conversation, Dr. Keller answered for her. So I don't know if we're going to be meeting someone of their own free will, I think is the best way we can put it.
It is very common in the Camarilla for a child to cling to their sire's side until they're declared freed. Which I suppose is where Shriek's knowledge might come in. Shriek, go ahead and make me an intelligence and politics.
That is a 4.
That is indeed a 4. You would know that her name is Petra Garnett. She is indeed the child of Dr. Ian Keller, and from what you understand of their relationship, Petra has in fact been released from her sire's side, but perhaps is choosing to remain by his side at this point, as she has sort of followed in her sire's footsteps. She is pursuing medicine as a hobby, for lack of a better word, as of right now. Kind of taken a vested interest in the psychiatric ward of the state hospital, much as Dr. Keller is. So perhaps she's, even though she's released, still doing a lot of learning by her sire's side. Perhaps a good relationship, perhaps a very you wouldn't know of any animosity between them. If there is any, there's no rumors about it. At least none that you can substantiate.
Okay.
Perhaps there's also a bit of a helpful sort of position there where she's helping him in a lot of the work that she does. So definitely more medical than perhaps psychology.
Okay.
To the medical applications of psychiatry rather than the behavioral methods of psychology.
It feels like a bad joke either way.
A bad joke. Whatever you
Is
need.
it? Are all of my clan simply chosen from medical and field and the crazy wards? Or is it that we're drawn to it?
Is that an actual question you want answered?
Maybe.
Yes or no?
I feel like I know the answer. But I'd like to hear what your answer is to that.
Your clan has always had a thing going on. And it would be nice if you had some way to balm your particular situation. I know I'm looking for mine, but instead, what do? Well, given some of the things that I've heard you guys are up to, would it be really out of the question to see if the answer to your riddle happens to lay within newly gained knowledge of psychiatric care? Wouldn't it be so nice to just be able to get past that piece of cursed blood just by a couple of words and a little bit of time spent on the couch? Where would you look for the answer? You're not going to find it with the guy who ended up putting that curse in your veins now, are you? No, you'd probably have to look elsewhere. And that's a comforting thought. People always end up going to the fields in that regard. Well, what happens when you start to feel like you're making headway, start to get an attachment? Guess who you end up taking in? Childer that most people end up taking typically come from roots that are already around. And where do you think most Malkavians are going to find themselves? Either they're on the side taking notes with the person on the couch, or being the person on the couch. Either way, it kind of ends up going back and forth. Same is true with blue bloods and how they like to end being CEOs and bishops and all any kind of shit like that. You embrace where you're around. Take a look at Nosferatu for a second. More often than not, homeless, street kids, punks, people on the outside of society. Well, where do you think most of them hunt? Can you really end up seeing the prince doing a neonate style of hunt inside of a ballroom? Didn't think so. So, darling, it's just pragmatic. You take what you know, and what is it the Malkavians want to know? How to make sense of it all. Probably explains why it is that Tremere typically are embraced with a stick up their ass. Why do you think that so many Toreador? You know, I don't run into too many 400-pound Toreador. You don't find those types in the nightclubs and strip joints and the actors guilds inside of all that kind of fun stuff. No, you find Toreador here going about in places where there's supposed to be art and luxury because they're constantly around it. So isn't any wonder why it is that they're the clan of the beautiful people.
I guess. It's a constant question of the chicken or the egg.
Don't know. Could be a fun thing to end up finding out.
Part of me thinks that maybe the answer for why we are isn't necessarily going to be found in humans, though.
Where are you looking, little birdie. Where are you looking?
It's less about looking, more about feeling, hearing.
Hearing what?
See. What? I only really talk about these things with Dr. Vale, but how would you describe certain impulses? Like the ones that make you hungry or angered, fearful when you see fire. Does it sound like your voice or does it sound like someone else's?
Voice. I don't hear too many voices.
Oh.
But I guess that might be a Malkavian thing. No judgment, it's just might have heard a story or two. Now, me, what? I've always been a little snoopy. Part of the day job. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, depending on the requirements of the job. Just ends up meaning that I got to know certain things. As far as fire, well, we've been told several times that inside of us is the beast, this instinct, right? Whatever you want to call it. And whatever you want to call it, it's there. And it's true. Everybody's lost a little bit of control from time to time. It happens. Okay? It happens. Even to the best of us. But fire? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're about as flammable as a oily rag at any given time. Survival mechanism, maybe? I mean, if we want to end up thinking on that one, what do you think makes humans instinctually afraid of the dark? Or have you figured that one out now?
It's probably got something to do with us.
But it's instinct. They don't know about us. Now, if we do our jobs right. But there's still that instinct. Don't go out into the dark. Can't see what's coming to kill you.
Yeah. I feel like I just incriminated myself as way stranger than I really want to around you, so I think I'm gonna move on.
You're strange. You think you're even anywhere in the top 100 of things strange? You don't even break the shit I know in mortal terms.
Maybe I just don't want to look bad in front of you. At least not anymore. Not again.
Again. You're talking about when I, brought up a certain name of he who shall not be named, or are we talking about the fact that you openly admitted that, me being dead might make the world a little bit better of a place?
I'm talking about when I couldn't handle things.
Well, that's what you brought me along for, isn't it? So, right now, Petra is a little quantity you want to get to know. My job is to end up making sure that goes relatively smoothly. She's one of yours, so we'll end up seeing on how well that goes. Always wondering, though. Always wondering. Because, girl, I'll be honest with you. This is just going to be entertaining to me one way or another.
I'm not sure what you mean. What are you anticipating?
The worst. I always anticipate the worst. Hasn't let me down yet.
Fair.
I find if you anticipate the worst, you can plan around it. It's kind of like if you're not complaining about the world flooding if you end up having to already have had an ark built. At that point, it goes from panic to mild inconvenience.
So, if we anticipate the worst, then that is to assume, as of right now, that Dr. Keller already knows we're out to get him.
Wouldn't be a stretch, but that's part of the game. Just because he knows doesn't mean that he can end up acting upon it in certain ways. It's like the masquerade. Right?
And
They know something's in the dark. They don't know what, but they know on an instinctual level. Don't go into that dark alley. Maybe some of them will say, oh, how brave they are. Look, there's nothing there. Watch what happens. Oh, there's the light. No boogeyman. You can do that enough times. Maybe start convincing yourself it's safe. Until that one time you catch the boogeyman. And that's the last time. They know, even if they don't. Keller's no different. Keller sees a bunch of jumped up neonates, got way too big for their britches, and are going to start trying to end up forcing around because they got their heads swollen because they ended up getting a shared title, and they end up thinking that that means something. When in reality, the only power granted to them was the position given to them by the prince, which means it's as easy to take away as a couple words by the prince. What power do they really have?
I'm not quite sure yet.
That's
But
why you gotta have eyes and ears, little Anna.
I do think that whatever we speak to Petra about tonight, she very likely will bring back to Dr. Keller. All of it.
That's a tasty little morsel.
And I think it might benefit us. If we're serving him information that he wants,
And what
that
is
serves
it?
us more. Does he want?
What does he want?
Subjects. experiments.
You sure?
He wanted the twins because of that.
You wanted the twins because it was a curiosity, it was a puzzle. Don't mistake the means for the end.
He wants to solve puzzles.
Profiler.
So what puzzle do we give him?
What puzzle do we give him? That's a good question. Haven't figured that out yet.
Coffee?
Hmm.
I think we need help.
Okay. What would you like to ask?
What is a puzzle that we can feed Dr. Keller?
A puzzle that you can feed Dr. Keller.
A bait and switch, if you will.
Okay.
If we need to make a roll on it,
I'm having a thought about that. Because...
Okay.
Because...
the way my brain is working is I want a plan A and a plan B.
Okay.
But both of these feed into the ultimatum, which is
Ultimately to
Plan-
get his land.
you plan Super Elysium trick shot move, okay?
Okay.
So, two parts to the plan is, and the way this works as a bait and switch, is one of these. We're going to have one of these be, the puzzle is going to be a bait. Or Anna's going to be the bait. And then we're going to switch it out. And either way, whatever we switch it with is actually going to be a trap. So I could work as the puzzle.
A trap with the intentions to do what, exactly? Is that where you're wanting the... Oh, we're going to swipe domain away from you coming from?
Derek, help me form a thought. I only have like 2 brain cells.
Well, I need them on loan first.
So if I'm understanding the inquiry correctly, is you essentially want Dr. Keller to not see the fast one coming. You want him to be baited and maybe fixating on a new toy so that he doesn't see you with whatever leverage you have coming at him in Elysium in order to swipe domain away from him.
Yes.
Okay. As long as I have the intention, we can work in vagaries if we have to. So, what that bait is for him to fixate on. Well, we've already kind of discussed what it is that you know about him. So the next step is, do you either use yourself or do you use the girls?
Oh, shit.
Because he's already kind of expressed interest in them before, and they kind of got scooped up by Shriek, which you haven't really gauged his reaction on. quiet, but that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, if his new fixation, we already scooped up the girls. I'm not going to take that from straight. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do in that note then is, I've already decided I'm going to have a dinner date with this guy. So whatever, we'll go with that.
Okay.
The problem is it's whether or not I'm going to get back from the dinner date.
That is the tricky question now, isn't it? Now you have to plan for the contingencies of what may or may not happen. You've already kind of been warned about the fact that people disappear when he's around over time, ? They're just never seen again. Mostly in the kind department, but he has expressed some interest sometimes in other kindred. But that's also based on rumors. Very well spread rumors, because most everybody says that. But they're rumors nonetheless. You don't have any proof yourself.
I'm gonna go off of some spooky, weird in-clan stuff. Yeah. We'll do that.
Some spooky, weird in-clan stuff. Okay.
I think I know a tasty puzzle for him.
Okay.
And in return, I gotta figure something out here. There's a very strong possibility if I don't play my cards right, and I may not make it out.
You did
what am I
hear
talking
some.
about?
Yeah, you're fairly certain that if this guy's got some of the other kindred in the Camarilla spooked, like Dr. Vale, then there's maybe some seriousness to take these rumors.
But we have an Alex.
You do have an Alex.
We have an Alex, and Alex knows what Anna looks like, so...
You do. That's true.
Okay. I feel a little safer now. Not entirely safe, but safer.
That you might be discovered should you be whisked away.
That there might be a crime behind whisking away and torturing a Primogen. You know, if Warsi is a man of tradition, as he so claims to be.
It's true. He rules with an iron fist, and those rules are solid.
God forbid that someone not give him the absolute authority of dictating such things. Okay, I think... Derek, you with me on this?
Trying to follow, and I am leaning into the Malkavian-ness of it all.
Very good! Alright, absurdity ensue. Let's go!
So, what next, Anna?
Let me go speak to Petra.
Okay. Petra, you would know, based off of the information that Shriek has about her, is that she, while works in tandem a lot at Dr. Keller's office, she's not always there. She's sometimes doing her own sort of things at a separate partition of the state hospital. So you can find her in that area. And like I said, predominantly has a sort of inpatient psych ward that's part of the building, and as well as other medical facilities should they require, medicines, checkups, things like that. pretty run-of-the-mill inpatient care sort of psych ward. So, that is the building you find yourselves in front of right now. Do you want Alex in on this?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a full coterie outing in a long time.
All right. So you can give her a call if you want, if you have a phone. This old coterie doesn't have a phone. There's payphones, maybe.
Look at us. We're good little capes.
Good little capes. It's also Arlington. I'll allow an investigation check if you want to find a payphone. If there is one around.
Is there not a phone in the hospital? Fuck it. I'm gonna walk straight into the hospital.
All right, I will join in.
Okay.
All right. Anna approaches the desk clerk, and more than likely, they have a pretty traditional office phone right there. She's just going to point to it, and I need to dial a number. Could I use the phone? Let me use the phone. Compel.
Oh.
I'm not gonna get.
Okay.
Okay.
So the phone is presented to you, and you are
Wonderful.
able to dial a number.
I'm not gonna give them a chance to say no. I don't like that. Anna's gonna go ahead and dial Alex's phone number.
Alex, there is a phone number that comes up as the state hospital as the caller ID.
I imagine this is on the shop's phone. Because
Yeah.
Alex doesn't have a phone line.
Alex
Yes.
doesn't have a phone right now. So
So,
it would be the shop's phone, and it does have caller ID, and you would see state hospital as the caller ID.
Oh, looks at it and goes, hello?
Hello, this is states Alex's shop, correct?
Yes?
Hi, your party is waiting here at the state hospital. If you would like to come meet them, they're ready.
Sure. I'll be there momentarily.
Great. See you soon. She clicks it, shuts.
Since you're hanging up, Shriek just looks to you. Smooth.
And by that point, the desk clerk that you just swiped the phone from, who seems to be the only clerk at the desk at the moment, seems a little confused, but otherwise looks at you and says, "Can I help you?"
Oh, we're just waiting for someone to come pick us up. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting for our full party. Actually, perchance, I'm looking for someone with the last name Garnett. Is there a nurse employed here by that name?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I see.
May I ask why?
I just have a friend who's a nurse, and, well, I just haven't seen them in a while.
Oh. Well, you understand, I can't just give out that information. It's, but why don't you call them?
Oh, it's been so long. It was back when we were in college, and I just heard that they'd been employed somewhere around the city here. So
It's
I
a
was
big
hoping I
city
could
right
cash
here.
in. Yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't ring a bell.
Very well. Well, we're just waiting for the rest of our party. When are visiting hours?
For whom?
Patients.
Patients have individuals visiting hours.
Yes, of course, by wards. I understand. I know. But just a general visiting hours for nighttime. How far into the night? What hours does it reach to?
Generally, we don't accept visitors past 10 o'clock.
Good to know.
It depends on the individual patient, too, so.
Of course. I understand. Well then. That would be all for now. Like I said, we're just waiting for the rest of our party.
All right. You're welcome to wait for a few minutes, but if it's going to be longer, I'm going to have to ask you to wait outside.
Oh, no problem. Nana is just gonna lock arms with Shriek and go wait out, just at the door or outside, whatever it is.
All right. For too long, Alex's vehicle is kind of pulling up to the state hospital in general, and eventually, when you're kind of driving around the whole complex, you do see Anna and Shriek.
She winds down the window as she approaches them and peeks out. What was that about?
We thought we'd call you. Join the fun.
Sorry, you'll have to catch me up. What fun?
Do you want to meet someone new tonight?
Sure.
Actually, if I think about it, you might have met her.
I might have met her.
Patrick Arnett. Do you recall?
Out of character, I don't think Alex has met.
You were at the last Elysium, weren't you? You might have seen her.
Saw her pass by her group, just ignored her and talked to the Tremere instead.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. She probably didn't even take notice.
But give me an intelligence politics to in case you have heard of that name before.
Did you want me to roll a rouse first or no?
Oh yeah, roll your wake rouse.
Out of the way.
Yeah, because your waking rouse is going to happen first.
Probably fuck things up.
You're a little hungrier, little Tremere.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Time to go raid the pantry again.
Gotta go raid the pantry.
Okay, intelligence politics, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Fuck.
Oh, pardon me. Three's not bad. Three's not bad. It's a name.
Better, could be worse.
It's a name you've heard in passing before. You're aware that she's the child of Dr. Ian Keller, a known and well-respected member of the Camarilla court. The rumor is that she spends a lot of time at the state hospital because her sire does.
So why are we speaking to Dr. Keller's child?
Well, two things. One, I am anticipating that anything that we have to say, she will relay to him. And two, I'm curious to see if we can use this to our advantage to gain further leverage. The problem is, and I should have probably anticipated it, she wouldn't be under how we know her here. Which is understandable.
Well, yes, that would be expected.
We know where she works. Psychiatric ward.
Do you know what she looks like? Because I honestly couldn't put a face to her name.
I know what she looks like.
Oh, that makes things easier.
It does, actually. Alright, well, let me find a parking spot and we will do whatever it is that you have planned.
Okay.
Alex, you kind of swing over in the parking lot to find a space. You find a couple of individuals kind of standing outside of a car. Looks like they're speaking to one another in a space near where you're able to find parking. A couple of women, one of which looks like she is wearing a doctor's coat with a stethoscope and a very nice sort of shirt and pants underneath. The other woman looks like she doesn't belong in an office at all. She is kind of decked out to the nines in sort of a little black dress with jewelry, sort of a really dark makeup done. Looks like she might be headed out to a club.
Strange pair to see outside of a hospital. As I step out of the vehicle, can I hear them talking?
Do you have heightened senses?
No.
Okay, then it'll just be a straight wits awareness.
Be quite a decent dice.
Yay.
Okay, that's 4. Let's take a look here. They kind of do see you see you've pulled up into a parking space. Their conversation is very quiet. Whatever they're talking about, it's, even with as good a hearing as you have, it's still hard to hear.
Almost like they're trying to keep it private.
Very private, apparently.
She kind of makes a show of opening the back door of her car and pulling out a big old duffel bag full of bits and bobs. kind of taking her time getting away from the window.
Drake looks to Anna. So is this my cue?
Anna, you would see from here, because it's not too far away, that one of the women is Petra, the woman in the lab coat.
Oh. There she is. Yeah, I think this is your cue. It's the one in the lab coat over there.
You want to meet alone or just know what they're up to?
I'm curious to know what they're talking about.
And like that, Shriek's gone. And I'm not even going to use obfuscate on this one. I'm going to actually use
Just rely on your stealth.
yeah, I'm also going to rouse.
Okay, so that will be a dexterity and stealth.
Okay. It's
And
not a great deal for me, but we'll make do.
You are a little hungry. Ooh. Not a good dice pull, he says.
It's only 10 dice.
Bro.
Only.
Bro.
I try and be modest.
You are indeed very quiet. Much as they are, as you're walking up. You see that
I turn on heightened senses.
You also see that Alex is making kind of a show of the fact that she's taking her time to get out of her car, not too far away.
Kind of digging through some stuff in the back seat, kind of pushing them into her bag and whatnot. Almost like she's getting ready to go in for a long stay.
Okay. And Shriek, wits awareness plus your heightened senses.
I hate to do it this early, but I am going to spend a willpower. That's a 3. Because I only got 1 success on 5 dice, so
Yeah.
I had to end up balancing it out somehow.
They're being very quiet. The only thing that you hear come out of either of their mouths, between any of you listening in, is Petra saying, "Thank you, Tessa." And the woman in the black dress gets into a vehicle, and which they're right next to, and then starts the car to drive away.
Any chance I would know of the other individual? Or the other individuals, I should say?
Petra, we've done an intelligence politics on. Go ahead and make me another one for Tessa.
Yeah, because I don't want to metagame this, and I personally don't believe I've met Tessa, so.
No, you have not.
5, so solid.
Tessa. It's kind of a common name, but if Petra is talking to them, then it might be kindred business? A ghoul, maybe? You're not 100% certain because you've never met this person. As far as
I figure there might be an off chance I ran into him in Elysium or something like that, but if not, then there we go.
You know that there is a Tessa who dresses very similar to this. Maybe it's a little dark. That is a member of Clan La Sombra. Now, whether this is the same person, you're not entirely sure. But that particular person is known to be a coterie mate of Petra.
Okay, interesting. So fairly young still.
Yeah, neonates. Between the both of them, you would assume.
Would I happen to know their coterie affiliation, or if many members of the coterie, any relevant information to the situation?
You would know that there is one other coterie member out of this little party. I have not come up with a coterie name for them, but you would know it. And the other member of the party is another La Sombra by the name of Luther Norix.
God, imagine being stuck with two La Sombra. Bro.
Umber are stuck with the Malkavian.
Hey.
So between the three of them, they a lot of the work that they do is very quiet. Even amongst those in the kindred society, it's very hush hush. Maybe it's to not draw unwanted attention. Maybe it's to keep their own sort of nefarious deeds as one would want to be as a kindred, as secrets. They're very quiet. The only thing that you know that they might be is sort of coterie tasked with offering collection.
Offering collection.
Which doesn't happen often, but it is a job that some coterie needs to do at some point.
Explains the La Sombra need a couple of heavies. I'll wait until Tessa's a good ways away.
She drives off in her car. It's a nice sort of mid-luxury. It's not quite a luxury vehicle, but it's not quite a standard sedan either. It's kind of on the nice side of moderate. The nice side of moderate, we shall say. Black, chrome. Kind of goes to the nine with the whole black aesthetic. And she drives off and into the night, and Petra is there waiting for a moment before she...
Rick will be right behind her for when she turns around.
Well, she notices Alex first, because Alex is making a show to try and draw attention.
Yeah.
By the time you're finished packing things, what things you think you can pack into a duffel bag out of your car, that you feel like you've sufficiently gathered enough things, you turn around and she is looking at you, Alex. And you might notice that Shriek is behind her.
Probably making
Alex-
funny ears.
Alex gives her a wave and says, "Good evening."
Hello, she says, very sort of monotonely in a way, before starting to walk back towards the building.
So when she turns, she should be facing Shriek to go back to the building, right?
Yeah, you could be right there. Oh. I'm sorry, I
Hi.
didn't see you there.
I take that as the highest of compliments, really I do. How you doing, Petra?
Can I help you?
I hope so. Got a few people who want to end up talking to you if you can spare a moment of your time.
I'm really rather busy. Can we get this moving quickly?
Right this way?
And she follows you?
Bring her over to Anna's car and gesture to Alex.
Alex just follows along. Not really sure what's happening.
I open the rear passenger door to allow them to sit beside dear Anna. And then gesture for Alex to follow suit.
She does.
Petra does not get in the car. I'm actually rather busy.
I don't have a car, so
Oh, okay. No, that I would have screwed
Yeah.
that up. Okay. All right.
it would all be Alex's vehicle. Yeah, I locked you here.
Okay. Yeah, fair. My dumbass. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah,
It's okay. It's hard to. It's easy to forget this bitch ain't got nothing.
Alex simply smiles to Petra and says, "We're also rather busy. So if we could please make this quick."
Then what is it you want?
I'll leave that for my friends to discuss.
She looks to Anna, to Shriek.
Out of curiosity, do you remember meeting me at Elysium?
Yes. Yes, I do.
That's actually good to hear. It's nice to meet you again, Petra. And I apologize for the sudden circumstances. But I was hoping you could help us with something.
All right.
I'm in. It might be very forthcoming, but I'm curious about what your relationship with your sire is.
Personal. It is. He is a very solid teacher. He's very kind. Very wise.
Looking her over while she's answering this, I would like to pay attention to her mannerisms, her facial expressions, all of that, and how honest she is.
Yep.
in her.
I'll offer a bonus on that.
Wits and insight.
Bless you.
Oh, pardon
With a +1.
me. Yep, from Shriek. Ooh. Look at that messy crit. Oh.
I would like to willpower that, please.
Okay. Are you doing that 10 and 2 other dice, or just the 10?
The 10 and 2 other dice, please.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Just 3.
Okay. Yep, just 3.
That's better than a messy.
She's very stoic. She's very likable. She's very polite. She's very pretty, but she's also hard to read, which might be intentional.
Emotionally disconnected, perhaps.
Professional. Very professional demeanor, maybe. Why do you
Suppose
ask?
I was. Well, I've been thinking about it lately. And, in all honesty, I find myself with many questions about, well, us. And what's going on with me.
Is your sire being negligent?
It isn't that. Not at all. She's very supportive.
And I suppose I would wonder why you wouldn't bring these questions to her, and instead are seeking me out.
Because I believe that the nature of my condition is a little different than just that. Just simply asking of our clan. You share it too, right?
I don't know what you
No,
mean.
that feeling when you see another one of our clan, whether you knew it from ever met them before or not. You know it. You know what they are.
Curious.
I've thought about it. And I think the answer is that I need to speak with other Malkavians to know. To really understand it. And more curiously, is that in the last Elysium, it seemed like Dr. Keller also felt that.
That's
I've been
entirely
considering,
possible.
perhaps. I've been considering his offer. But
He is across the street, you know.
of course, my curiosity comes from the idea and question of how that would make you feel.
How that would make me feel.
What if we're working beside each other?
Then we are working beside each other. It makes no difference to me. Whether you're physically by his side or whether you're not, aren't we all working towards the same goal as members of the Camarilla?
I agree.
Then it makes no difference.
And perhaps you could assist me with something. You'll have to forgive my cautiousness, but would you be willing to do a young primogen's small favor? Could you offer him an invite to dinner with me? I have a restaurant in mind.
Not to shirk off a young primogen's request, but couldn't you tell him that yourself in person? I see this go-between being a bit tedious.
Perhaps it is. But if he is also as busy as you are, and you two work in the same facility, it would be far more simple of a matter for you to deliver such a letter. Here, I've even written it. She'll pull out an actual physical letter. I picked out an especially nice postcard.
She kind of takes it, looks it over. If you insist. Then maybe you'll do something for me in return.
Certainly.
Answer me this. Why?
Why what? I don't speak in riddles.
You're Malkavian, my dear. We always speak in riddles. Simply, why? Answer the question however you like.
Because I'm very interested in knowing more. If anyone. All of us. Could answer a bigger question. What is the cobweb?
Are you
I'm
asking?
curious.
You're asking her what is the cobweb?
I understand it in theory. But I want to know what it means in practice.
Very interesting answer. But I don't think it answers my question. Very well, I'll pass it along. When do you want a response?
Soon. He's more than welcome to call us at a very specified phone line. If I might. Alex?
And Alex,
Would it be
I
all
right?
provide a phone number?
Alex will provide the shop's number.
Okay.
She says, it's not a secured line. But if you give us an appointment time and date,
Well, I'll pass along the note. Whether he responds or RSVPs to your invite, that will be for him to decide.
I suppose it will. Then,
Well,
from there, I suppose I'll leave you to it.
yes, as I must get back to my duties.
Doctor, I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your evening, and thank you.
You're welcome. Whatever that's worth. And she turns to go towards the building, and if no one's going to stop her, she will walk back inside.
No, not interested in stopping her.
Okay. Then she disappears inside the building. Leaving you three together on your own.
Alex just kind of leans against her car, looking between the both of them like, I still have no idea what's going on.
To be fair, I don't think I did anything right there, but
Said it was your play.
this is true. And I'm not a very good player.
The cobweb. That's an interesting topic of conversation.
Yeah. It's... as Dr. Vale puts it, we're all connected. It isn't just our bloods, but something inside of us. Deeper, almost spiritual. I don't understand it, but sometimes I get images. Pieces of things that I don't quite understand.
Would you like me to do some looking into it as well? Perhaps there is some research that someone of my countenance has taken part in the past. That might help you understand it.
If it's something you're interested in, but truth, I don't know, really. I honestly feel that, well, for lack of any other term, crazy, that I just hear voices in my head with no rhyme or reason.
If there's anything that we understand, it's that the blood has many, many ways of manifesting. Many ways. And the clan of Malkavian has a tendency of being one of the most hard to understand clans. While those of the clan don't make a lot of sense, and those with typical strains of thinking can't follow it, your clan is known for wisdom and foresight and forethought that should otherwise be impossible.
I don't think any of those things apply to me.
I'm not so sure, Anna. You always seem to know things.
I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you think so. Let's head back to the shop. I'll explain to you what I think we might be doing. What I think might be coming.
Alright. Back to the shop it is then. You all pile into Alex's car and make your way back to the shop, going up to the little apartment that she has upstairs to be able to speak a little more freely.
The apartment itself is beginning to smell highly chemically underneath of all the incense that she has burning.
Is that pine sol? It's fresh.
Yes, well, forever having guests remain unseen. And the little droppings have a tendency of stinking the place up.
Maybe we should strongly consider a new meetup place.
So long as I keep up with the regular pest control, it should be alright.
You could get a cat. A witch and a cat.
Somehow I think that wouldn't stop or be able to keep up the unique skills of our dear friend. She looks at Shriek.
I'm so glad that I'm finally acknowledged that I'm here. Only required you to end up having to worry about your building coming down on your head for that to end up happening. But so glad I got your attention now.
Shriek, you always have my attention.
You know it.
Even when I really don't want to give it to you.
Must be just that wiggle in my walk.
Must be.
Besides,
Speaking of wiggle, there's a worm on the wall.
Damn woodworms. She picks up a shoe and swats it. Leaves a big smear on the wall. Oh, clean that up. As she's waiting for them to talk, she goes into the kitchen, she gets some cleaning supplies and starts wiping it away. It feels like she's turning into a clean freak.
We've more or less agreed that Dr. Keller's who we're choosing, try and target, work on. I'm not sure.
He's a
Feels-
point of removal.
I think I've more or less decided an idea that I have. I've been told that I should not be meeting Dr. Keller alone. I've been informed this many times, which is my reluctance to meet with him inside his hospital, inside his own turf, because there is with unbridled certainty that he would request for us to be alone. The reason why, of course, being a safety concern. Perhaps. I'm not sure. I'm going to be speaking with Mr. von Brunhild about having the leisure of dining at his restaurant. It enforces two things. First, I'm of the understanding that Venture also have a similar ability as myself. To control people's minds, to change them, make them do as you want, to make them forget.
Yes, my own clan is normally gifted with such an ability. It's
Are you?
not me in particular. My gifts tend to lean into a completely different direction.
That said, it seems like he might actually also have a lot of expertise on what that looks like in public settings. Masquerade or not, you would know what to look for. So being on his grounds would allow for a certain degree of safety, along with reinforcing that if there are people there, human people, then Dr. Keller would also be under the scrutiny of the masquerade to act on it. The goal of meeting him is pretty simple. I place myself as Bates, the apple of his eye for a moment. He picks my brain however long need be into the night. Long enough to be a distraction. And the rest of you make do with that time as best to your abilities as you can.
And what are we supposed to be doing with that time?
Well, as far as I can end up telling, we're trying to end up figuring out on how to end up solving our feeding problems and end up making our dear Dr. Keller's problem.
And you're aware of the risk that Dr. Keller may just use any domination abilities he has on you to make you go wherever the hell he wants you.
I'm aware of that. Ergo, me making the suggestion. We're at Luca's, Mr. von Brunhild's restaurant. The reason why I bring this up is there is a possibility that Dr. Keller does not actually know that is Mr. von Brunhild's restaurant, first. And second, that he doesn't know Mr. von Brunhild's goals, or that his goals are aligned with the party. So there is a layer of obfuscation to be had in that. How much?
That's not even the hardest part of this whole plan, to be honest with you.
Something did dawn on me as well. But I want to hear what you have to say, Shri.
This whole plan of extending border mostly stems on us here dealing with the nebulousness, shall we end up saying, of the border between our own little bit of domain and dear Ian Keller's domain. That nebulous gives us every reason to end up trying to end up keeping on that forefront. He's going to want to push back on that. We got to give him reasons not to. And we also need to end up making sure that the prince doesn't have any reason to rule in his favor. That's the hard part. We can't clearly cut into his domain. That kind of puts us on the bad side of the prince, but should we be better at reinforcing our interpretation of that boundary line, and politically it motivates that, then it's good. Complication, it's his childer who's responsible for collecting all the tribute offered to the prince, which means any kind of incentive we end up offering, well, might just get lost in the shuffle.
So we have to be sure that Prince Wasi will be on board.
Long story short, good news, it's Keller's domain. And Keller, I'm not going to say he's on bad terms. I'm also not going to say he's on good terms. I'm going to end up saying that for the most part, you might have noticed this trait he has in common with his kid? Too busy. And that too busy might end up being enough for most people to end up saying, well, if he's too busy, then somebody else might as well take it. Hey, we got a bunch of young, fresh faces. Why not? Who knows? Maybe I'm just being, maybe I'm being all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about it. But darlings, I think that you'll do fine.
Do we know any of the kindred in his domain?
Biggest ones you need to end up worrying about are the ones that we already know about, as far as I know.
I
Tess
think.
says Luth or sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead, Anna.
please continue. It's my bad.
You're bad. He rubs her head. Nah, kid. No, you're right on the mark. He's got a coterie that he's got a lot of leverage with. Petra's loyalty to Sire is admirable in the eyes of the Camarilla. It's to be applauded. And in the eyes of the Camarilla, that means that we have somebody who is the middleman between everything we end up giving to the prince and the prince. That's ultimately Keller's biggest leverage as far as us in the grander scheme of things. It gives him kind of a check. He's able to end up turning the valve tighter if he wants to, and gets plausible deniability. And that's not to mention the fact that his little collection plate for the prince is operated by the La Sombra. Tess and Luther hit Norax.
So, his childish coterie is functioning within his domain.
Until they come around for collections.
What about the rest of the kindred within his domain?
Well,
Who else is there?
We got rid of the other two. Obviously, the twins now have been relocated. As far as the rest of them, think about it for a minute. I believe I'm going to make a roll on this. If there's any relevant ones, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that there's going to be like a Thin Blood Cative, maybe a few of the Cavians, but they might not be plot relevant. I'm trying to think of anybody who might actually be able to sway this.
Alex just has an idea, that's it.
3 successes.
As far as relevance, there's maybe a Nosferatu who occasionally swings by, but aside from that, it's really him and his outfit, and then Petra's coterie. It's kind of a smaller domain. It's kind of part of.
He's got two coteries under him. That's basically what we need to be concerned with.
Yeah, himself, and Petra's coterie.
Would I happen to know this Nosferatu?
Yeah, Morgan Everlid. Much like you, tries to get information and dirt on everyone. And primarily works in body disposal, from what you know.
let me go and talk to someone not really important. See what I can muster up.
Yeah. Right now my thoughts are leaning on the edge of a vote of no confidence. But if he's so closely aligned with those in his domain, that makes that a little bit difficult.
Well,
Unless you can see doubt somehow.
please, it's court. Everybody doubts everybody. That's nothing to go off of. But I think I got an idea. At least solves a small portion of it.
I think I also have an idea. If you're the head of the hospital and you're too busy for everything, one of the biggest concerns, the greatest concern that occurs in clinical spaces are OSHA violations.
Don't know anything about that.
You want to get the mortal world, human law, looking at him.
Not the craziest idea.
It would
Flirt
certainly,
masquerade, but go ahead.
if it causes enough concern, especially involving any sort of pest control in a hospital setting. I think it would pull him out of favor of the court, considering how traditional Marcy is. How bad would it look on him if we have men in hazmat suits in front of his hospital?
So you want Treat to go and sit in the basement for a few hours, is what I'm hearing.
It's another realm we can look at. But I want to see what it is that Shriek thinks can happen first. It's just an idea. If we can't
I think
work with Kindred.
At the end of this all, it's a matter of him being too busy. Let me feel about, see what the attitudes are, what the whispers are. Get the lay of the land. My initial thoughts, he says, and you notice a great deal of hesitancy before he says anything. Like he's, maybe this is leaning into too personal territory. My initial thoughts. Trying to figure this all out, Darlene's is, just gonna be so delicious. I need to end up knowing if he really is that busy. If he is, I can definitely end up saying that there's going to be a point of interest in saying that our claims on the domain, the disputed bit of territory, might be a net benefit. The big thing is how do we make sure that this net benefit transfers to the prince? At the end of it, he wants to maintain power. He wants a bigger ratio of it. If he's too busy, maybe he's just bitten off more than he can chew, or more than he cares to chew. I need to know what that is. And I need to end up calling in a few contacts. Figure out what's going on. He's got his hand on the collection plate, but we can make sure more eyes are watching that collection plate. What do you think would happen if it turned out that most of his problems happened to be skimmed a little bit off the top? A little bit more than promised. Because I don't doubt that this is his little way of knowing who's delivering what and gives him kind of a little bit of a stranglehold on who is really giving what to the prince. And I'm sure that a few people would notice if things went missing. But that bit of tarnished reputation from his own child there? Stealing from the prince? Ooh. It just makes me all moist thinking about it. But I'm not here to insinuate anything. I want to figure out the lay of the land. Really know what's going on. And I think I know just the guy to call.
I think that's a good place for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll find out who Shriek's gonna call and what Anna and Alex get up to next. So be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Last we left off, the party was gathered in Alex's little apartment, discussing their desire to trip up Dr. Ian Keller and see about maybe claiming some of that disputed domain on the border of their two spaces, and seeing about tightening up that border just a little bit in the favor of the Dead Man's Hand coterie. As part of that, Shriek has gone to connect with maybe other contacts that he has in order to get a better idea of the lay of the land, get a sense of rumors or maybe even facts that could be corroborated in one way or another regarding Dr. Keller. While Anna has invited Alex to go and speak with Kyra Harden, the Second Inquisition agent that they had captured and is in the custody of Dr. Vale. You arrive at Dr. Vale's office and are led, after some discussion, led to a basement. A basement where Kyra is being held. Monitors to gauge her health are present in the room. She's being fed liquids and other such necessities through IVs. And more or less is strapped down to the bed for the moment. Looks like she's conscious, breathing, in fair health, for as beat up as she is anyway. Recovering. But she doesn't seem to acknowledge any of you as you walk in. She's just kind of lying there, just kind of meditatively breathing.
Is she still going by the name Kyra? Do I know?
I think that's something we have to ask Dr. Vale at this time.
Yes, she's still herself. Do you wish me present? Dr. Vale says.
If you would like to be, I have no issue with that.
I'm alright with it.
Very well. And she kind of dismisses herself from the group of you, but kind of stands in the corner of the room, just observing for the moment. It's not a very large room. It's kind of a storage space, if anything, with these sort of health monitors, just kind of hooked up, almost haphazardly. Like they're plugged into all sorts of different plugs around the room. Like this room was not designed with this in mind.
Alex will take a seat on the edge of the bed, gently placing down the pizza on what would be Kyra's leg. Kyra, do you remember me?
Yes, I remember you.
How are you feeling?
Could be better.
Are you hurting anywhere?
I'm fine.
I bought some pizza, and I figured nutrition through a drip isn't typically satiating.
She kind of wiggles the cuffs that are kind of around her arms and kind of have her chained to the side of the bed. Kind of have her arms chained to the side of the bed. I can't exactly move.
Do you mind, Doctor, if I remove these? Maybe let us sit up a bit?
If you want to take that risk.
I'm sure laying in the same spot for hours on end is uncomfortable to say the least.
Dr. Vale produces a set of keys and goes to unlock the locks on the cuffs that are chaining her to the bed. Now be a good girl and don't cause any trouble, she says to Kyra. And you see Kyra just kind of wince a little bit and give a very tiny nod.
Is there any indication between them that maybe Dr. Vale has actively hurt Kyra in the time that she's been here?
Give me a wits and medicine.
Huh!
Well, so good as you could hope.
Yeah.
There are no new injuries, from what you can tell. But there's something.
Nothing to say that she hasn't said or done anything using kindred gift. Poor girl. Is this a little bit better?
She goes to sit up, and you see that her sort of white hair is a little matted, like it's been slept on for days.
Alex will reach into her bag and pull out a hairbrush. Probably an old one that she hasn't used since before she was a kindred, but it's good to have as kind of a show. And she offers it.
I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're attempting to appeal to my humanity or to yours.
You remember the conversation
Yes,
when you came into my shop?
yes, I do.
I didn't lie to you.
Oh, blanks lie.
I did my best.
The light of the world to pretend you don't exist. And yet, blanks control everything.
Not everything. There are some things no one can.
What, like the weather?
Like the roll of a die.
But you can always
Control
stack.
everything.
But they
You can
stack
control
things
everything.
ever so slightly in their own odds every moment of every day.
People same.
You're trying to pretend you're not a monster.
We didn't all choose. Just the same as we didn't choose to. Roll of the.
Maybe.
You should brush your hair. At the very least, it should help you feel a bit more comfortable.
I don't need your pity.
It's not pity. It's allowing you the dignity that you deserve.
Dignity. Is that what they call this? She looks over to the whole room in general, trying not to make eye contact with Dr. Vale, but
As much dignity as we can afford you.
being that I'm your enemy,
Being that you are dangerous to us. Just as we are dangerous to you.
Harrison, Mathis,
Names?
Otsko. Where are they?
I'm just trying to figure out if Alex would know.
You would
any
know
of those
Harrison
names.
Winters was the person who shot you. The one that you killed. In the van.
I'm
Other
sorry
members
to
of her
tell
team?
you.
Or the other ones? Yeah.
The only name that I know amongst is Mr. Winter, and I'm sorry to tell you that he is passed. He was killed during the scuffle retrieving Madame.
Retrieving Madame. Leslie Donaldson. Detroit.
A woman who was trying to even with her circumstances as they are.
And what if I told you her going to Langley was voluntary?
How so?
I talked to her. Talked to her myself.
What did she tell you?
That everything about being a blank body is a crock of shit. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. Not even her own sire apparently has checked in on her in some time. I thought that was something that big organizations take advantage of. She was hard to spot, though.
No. No, that doesn't add up. She couldn't have come on her own because when we got her, she was filled with holes already. You had already shot her.
I didn't
So
shoot
how
her.
can she? How? No. Well, someone did. How can she come willingly when someone already shot her? You would shoot a willing person? A willing captive?
I don't know the circumstances behind why, because I was already here.
When
I'm already your prisoner.
When we retrieved Madame, she was strapped down in the back of a van, filled with bullet holes.
Then I suppose Harrison and Mathis would be the ones to ask about that.
Well,
But you killed Harrison.
Mr. Winters did die during the scuffle.
You killed him. You can't even admit it to yourself?
I remember everything about that moment. When the blade went through his chest and there was no hope of his. I remember when he put a bullet through me and the way that it burned going in and tore out my back. I'll never forget sound him choking on his back.
Coffee.
Because he was a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, but a weird thought just occurred to me.
Okay.
Probably in Anna's head too.
Okay.
We didn't mention that Harrison was dead before she did.
No, Alex did.
Alex
She
did?
told-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she told her.
Cool. All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Alex mentioned it.
Mr.
And then
Winters.
Thanks.
She asked about him. Where was he? What had happened? Yeah.
Oh, good catch, Specs. Good catch.
It is a regret I'll have to live with for the rest of my existence that somebody had to die because we couldn't risk secrets getting out. That will weigh on me for as long as I can keep my human heart.
And how long is that? Eternity. You'll forget. You'll forget by the time you kill the next one.
Hopefully, by the time the next one dies by my hand. Many, many, many years.
But
An
you drink
age,
human
I
blood.
hope.
Blanks drink human blood. Every night it's a risk that you bleed somebody out. So,
Can't deny that. Can't deny that we don't have a choice.
then how can you blame me for being humanity's only self-defense?
Because we don't mean to kill. Most of us, anyway.
That's a lie.
It's not.
It's a lie plenty of humans tell themselves too.
In the end, the only way that we can live is to take.
Theft.
Same for humans. But we can give back as well.
Right. Because controlling humanity is giving back.
In our own way. We help build economies, we help spread our wisdom in whatever ways we can when we've lived long enough. Some of us have seen ages rise and fall. And in that, we try to help the world flourish. We try to help humanity.
By either taking their blood or taking us. Roll of the dice. Happenstance. Somebody takes you away from your family because they wanted you first. You can't tell me that you chose this life. You said it yourself.
How do I? Before I became what you call a blank body, which is quite rude, by the way. There is more to me than just my men. physical body. I was living by myself. I had a cat. I had very little family. I was running a business, and my sire saw potential in me to do good.
Or at least that's what they told you, right?
To learn and to grow. And to potentially help the world around me for centuries to come.
And so they murdered you.
And so they extended my existence. To do that, my heart had to stop beating. And I had to subsist on human blood